Hello, the channel. Welcome back, everybody. We're all having a nice weekend, etc. Doing well. Back for a wee bit more lineup building. Talk through Playsharper selections for midweek, and generally just probably me crying at the Matt O'Reilly Celtic DNP, which was a kick in the short and curlies. But there we go. That's life. Still managed to get a few rewards, which is nice anyway. So first and foremost, I'm going to go through the play sharper side of things. Probably not as crucial this week away at Atletico Madrid, so it'll be quite a tough game. Celtic did actually do pretty well scores wise at Parkhead, but this is the away leg, which is going to be tougher. So pretty straightforward in goal, Joe Hart. Not much that's controversial there. Greg Taylor upgraded again to 95%. Bernabei's not even in the Champions League squad, so that's the difference between the weekend predictions and the midweek. Scales, Vickers and Johnson. Well, Johnson was rested at the weekend and pretty certain he'll come back in. This is an interesting one. I've got Phillips or Luis Palma. Palma's not a centre-back, obviously, so in the home game, Celtic finished with 3 at the back, and I think that might be something that happens again here. McGregor and O'Reilly, well, McGregor just hardly ever misses a game, really, so that's sort of pretty straightforward. It will be quite a tough game. I'm not expecting big scores or anything here. He's playing against a world-class midfield here. Matt O'Reilly back to 95%. Certain he will start. David Turnbull, Bernardo and Holm. I don't really know what we'll do in here. I mean, Turnbull played really well the last 2 games, but what he struggles with a wee bit is more off the ball. So he's fine when Celtic have the ball, but, this is going to be a tougher game. And Furuhashi and Maeda. So I do think we'll maybe go a bit more 5-3-2 in this game and be a bit more solid at the back. This is what we're up against here. Morata, Griezmann, Lino, Koke, Llorente, maybe even Rodrigo de Paul. I don't know if he's... it doesn't look as if he's going to be fit. That's right, he gets sent off, so he won't be able to play, so that's probably a bonus for Celtic. But yeah, playing against a real high-class opposition there. So yeah, I'm not expecting it to be a week where Celtic really win things, but you never know. You just never know. There's other teams rotating Challenger as well, but there'll be significantly easier games than that. By way of overview, I have been playing the caps a wee bit, so a bit of sort of mixed sort of luck or ability or whatever in there. So first and foremost, Super Rare Cap Limited. Not really went very well at all, to be honest. Just can't really get anything going. Like, high score so far is like 330, which is really like sort of poor. So interested in the strategy in this. I think that if you haven't got at least one good score, I just don't really see the point in entering this anymore because you don't have any weekly rewards. So there's only 3 game weeks left and it's your best 4 scores. So not really doing anything particularly good in there. Again, super rare cap, 270. Really pretty awful scores all around. So one reasonable score and a 394, so that's something to build on. But yeah, I mean, I just don't really think I'm going to be bothering that much with that. What could be right or wrong. I mean, there's a reasonable amount of rewards, and the rewards are actually pretty good, but it's just the lack of the weekly and any Ethereum as well. This is the one that's been going the best, which is the rare. So pretty good. So you'll see that the top score is 1669, but Bottle Bars had a 523. 463. I've been kind of more consistent here, so 369, 387, 341, 404. Good thing there is, obviously, if I get a good score, 341 is going to drop off, so get a bit of scope to go up. And if you look at prize pool, then the rare one is something I'm going to be entering, because at the moment this is a tier 1 rare and tier 3 super rare, and then you're getting into star rares for the next jump and better super rares as well. So I do like how they've done this in terms of how you can win super rares, etc. I just think the main drawback is the lack of the kind of weekly rewards, which obviously Sorare will take some feedback on, and we'll see how things move forward. In terms of lineups, so yeah, there's a few sort of heartbreak ones here. We'll pick out the highlights. I'll promise not to greet. Firstly, in the World Cup effort is like a World Cup thing running just now. Just cannot seem to get a team without a DNP in this. Just horrendous. Like, Man City conceded as well, so that should have been a strong team, but it's turned out absolutely mince. Matt O'Reilly pretty much killing all the Celtic teams, as I mentioned. So let's see what the best ones are. So yeah, I had a good result in the cap to 404, so no immediate reward from that, but really nice team, and that sets me up for the end of the tournament, which is pretty good. Challenger Europe Rare, this one went pretty well, but Icardi never got a decisive, so really strong score overall, and it should hang on for a tier 2 rare, so that's pretty good. This one's still running as well, All-Star Rare Plus, so James Maddison to go tonight, so it won't be like podium or anything after Man City conceded, but could sneak a tier 1 if Maddison goes bonkers. This is where the pain starts, so yeah. I promise I'm not going to cry, honest. Promise. And then this one. So I guess it's maybe my own fault for not anticipating that Riley might be like sort of rotated, but it came off at like 60 or 70, and I just thought he would at least get some game time. This is definitely the most painful one though. That's very painful. Still a tier 3 super rare, so that's still good. But if he'd even just played at all, it was guaranteed like top 4, and with his averages, it's been really sort of high. So anyway, that's enough pain I'm inflicting on myself. Let's actually get into doing some lineup building. So first thing to point out, as I said earlier, I'm not really going to be entering the caps unless it's the 270 rare. So if people are thinking about what the strategy is this stage, if you've been going in for the 270 limited, etc., you've really got to make sure you've got at least 1 or 2 good scores there. Otherwise, with the best 4 scores counting and there's no rewards, then there's literally no point in entering at all. So that's the main drawback, I think, of it. So I'll be avoiding that. We'll see what we've got in terms of All-Star Super Rare. So, and if anybody's kind of, just to flick back, but if anybody's kind of wondering, why would that be relevant? Well, look at the prize pool you can play for in a single game week. So if you hit that big score, $1,000 worth of Ethereum, super rare tier 1, rare tier 2. Super rare tier 1s, you're talking about guys like this, guys like Son, Gabriel Martinelli, all that type of stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's significant, and you don't want to be given that type of sort of chance up, really. So in terms of what's happening here, so I'm not sure Alisson will play. It's usually been Kelleher. Joe Hart, definitely an option, but it's going to be a tough game. Joe Willis there as well. So interestingly, I think this week, normally you would be thinking Celtic would go in the All-Star, and sort of Nashville guys would go in the caps, but I think it's probably going to be the other way around. I'm not really sure that Celtic will outperform their averages at Atletico Madrid, but will have the best chance of actually sort of winning. So Willis, Zimmerman, Matt O'Reilly's interesting. I would quite like to max this out and use a unique. He did do a really high score against Atletico Madrid the last game, so if he could maybe sneak a 50-ish, then with the unique sort of bonus, then it's probably worth playing him. Almost definitely play now after being rested, and if he could just sneak a decisive, that would be absolutely amazing. But there we go. That's a different thing altogether. In terms of up front, so this fancy Furuhashi to maybe actually sneak a goal. Don't know. It's going to be a tough one. Especially got other choice here like Eduardo Sasha, Jordan Larson, interesting one. Just actually scored the weekend, so hopefully comes back to form. Rebic also an interesting one. He came on, got an assist at the weekend, so he's one that could be a reasonable sort of shout. But I think we'll probably go with the highest quality one. Go for Eduardo Sasha there, forward wise, and being at home, I think I'm going to back Nashville and go with Hani Mukhtar. Interesting in terms of like who to captain, etc. here, but I think let's go for Hani. He's not like the best in terms of base, etc. But if he gets a goal or 2 at home, then that would be the main choice. Obviously, I do have other guys here who are really sort of good selections. Szymanski been in great form. El Canus probably be one for the under 23s, although it's not the easiest of games away at Fenerbahce. So got some options. The problem is that mostly likes of Fenerbahce have been rotating, and Nashville are not going to rotate in that sort of playoff type game. And Sasha played last night and then come off at 60, so I'll check all the predictions for that. So Caps, probably going to go more sort of Celtic heavy in here, to be honest. So Carter Vickers. So actually on reasonably low sort of average scores at the moment, because Hart had a bad spell, and then Vickers was injured as well. It's quite hard to predict the actual rotations and things here. That's one of the issues with all these midweek games. I think there's a strong selection. Probably put Branko in here actually, because he's played the last 2 games. Brighton's not the easiest of games, but from that point of view, it's what it is. Rebic I think I'll put in here because it leaves me with one sort of better selection to put in. Just hope that he gets some game time after doing the business from the bench. Kopchu, I'm not sure if he's fit yet. Stones, Pep Roulette, I'll probably keep him for another team. Rostovsky's almost certain to play, so yeah. I mean, it's not going to be easy to get the sort of Joe Hart and Vickers result that we're looking for, but you never know. Celtic were quite good on the ball at Parkhead, and if we're as brave on the ball, we might come up with a reasonable score, and then the other guys will have to proper do the business there. Working my way back down here, just from the super rare to the rare, because that's just the normal sort of order in which usually I'll pick them. I'm going to go for under 23s first here, because I think that that's obviously a good chance midweek to get something. So in terms of goalkeepers, Kim Jin-hoon is a really... John Book did really well in the home game, so I think that's probably going to be the sort of favourite sort of selection here, but there are some options. So Trubin away at Sociedad usually score quite a few goals, so that's going to be a tough one to keep a clean sheet, I think. Zach Hemming's an interesting one. He's a guy I picked up recently, and really good score against Celtic, and then sort of followed that up as well. So he's one to look out for, pretty affordable at the moment as well. So it's kind of like who's the best sort of selection? Is it Smirn at home at Hibs or this one? I think Kim Jin-hoon probably comes out as the sort of favourite in terms of chances of a clean sheet, etc. Defence-wise, Sugawara, not really fancy away at Villa. I mean, Villa absolutely trounced these head away, so they're probably going to rotate a bit, but yeah, I mean, that's going to be a tough game for AZ. Frimpong, again, reasonable game at Karabag. They do rotate a wee bit as well in Europe, Leverkusen, so that's kind of one of the issues there too. I think Jack Maher might use the super rare of Nashville are pretty good at home, right? So I think that kind of makes sense in terms of the last game was 1-0, so it's a pretty tight game, reasonable scores, even though it was away at Orlando, and say Nashville, fingers crossed, should be pretty good at home. Midfield, usually Matt O'Reilly's first selection, but not this week. So having a look through, I think I probably want to use Thiago Almada. Atlanta at home, really high average. Can I say, I mean, the guy just smashes in scores, and it's crunch time now, but yeah, he needs to obviously step up after being red carded and stuff, but he missed the last one, should be fresh. So I think that's quite a natural selection there. In terms of up front, so that's going to be an interesting one as well. Doku has been absolutely phenomenal, so it's just been so good. But I just wouldn't put it past Pep to leave him out, honestly. Ren, quite a good home game. Again, some of these teams do rotate a bit, so that just makes me a wee bit nervous about the rotations. Rodrigo's quite a good shout, actually, because he didn't start the game at the weekend, and I think Real usually put out information about who's going to start, all that type of stuff. Martinelli at home as well. So interesting choices. Musiala, pretty good home game against Galatasaray. You expect Bayern to take a few goals off of them as well. I think he's got to go with Doku. I mean, when the guy plays, scores are just so good. They're just so good. surely Pep's not going to leave him out after that display, but I wouldn't put it past him, honestly. It's home game, City are flying in that group. I want to max it out and use Sorare, so I think I'm going to go with Canuce. Not the easiest game away at Fenerbahce, but Bilal's on sets, etc. And then I'd love to captain Doku, but I think I'll just leave the captain on Almada just for the Pep roulette side of things. Under 23s again, this is going to be a high priority this week, so I'm going to pick this line up next as well. So I think we're going to go Zach Kemen here. Trubin is a good option. I just think that Sociedad are pretty good, and I think they'll score at home. So he'll still do AA, or still could do AA, and no doubt he'll prove me wrong. They'll come in with a huge score, but we'll go with Guido. Defence-wise, to go with him, Satalo's starting to settle down a bit at Ajax, so they've won the last 2 games, but Brighton's pretty tough. Could go for Jack Maher again, actually, there too. But I think he's probably going to have to be Nico Schlotterbeck. Pretty good performance at Newcastle as well, and being at home, I think that's probably the best bet. Phil Foden came on at the weekend, so may well start a midweek. So I think he's probably, I do like the chances of maybe Szoboszlai, but again, loads of rotation from Liverpool. King and Lee scored a good goal at the weekend, starting to really show a bit of form. Arsenal maybe, I don't know, will they rotate a wee bit? Quite a poor result, so I think he'll go pretty strong. So yeah, Fabio Vieira's maybe an interesting one for the Caps or whatever, but I think I'll go with Phil Foden. I suppose I could maybe have Foden in this team with Doku or whatever, but yeah, it's kind of all eggs in the one basket in the Pep roulette, and I'm not a big fan of that. Taki Kubo, well, yeah, I think that Sociedad will probably score in that game. Tough game for Benfica, and also Benfica bottom of the group, I think, at the moment, so you'd have to fancy them at home. And then I think it's probably going to have to be Musiala as well, just based on fixture wise. Bayern at home, the Champions League. Galatasaray are no mugs, but you would fancy Bayern to score a couple there. Probably going to put the captain in Taki, so it feels a bit weird batting against Trubin, but yeah, I do think they'll score, so I'm just going to go with my instinct there. Now I'm going to pick the cap to 70 rare, and then we'll just go on to the limited, because I know a lot of you guys not always sort of playing at this level as well. This one that's going to have to be quite strong, I think, for me, just because of my position. So 3 games left. Okay, I'm kind of foregoing the chance to win a one-off reward, but you've seen in that leaderboard, quite approaching the star rares, so I think it's worth getting behind that once you've got a start. Interesting here, I may have sneaked into forgot Lamans. I thought I had a Lamans rare actually, but maybe I've not. Maybe it's just a damn. I was getting all excited there. I think Beauty is for Antwerp. His wife's about to pop, so yeah, I think Lamans is going to play. But I thought I had a Lamans rare. I must have sold it at some point. Yeah, I've only got a limited. I must have been mixed up with Verbruggen. So anyway, let's see who the best sort of goalkeeper is here in terms of caps. Obviously, I'm looking for somebody who could keep a clean sheet, but also doesn't have a hugely high cap cost. So Ederson, quite an interesting one actually. Although I wouldn't put it past Pep to pick Ortega. Vindal, Rangers probably a bit unlucky not to scoring away at Sparta. You'd imagine they'll score at Ibrox though. And Kelleher, that's an interesting one. Again, Toulouse did score at Anfield, but Liverpool are just starting to sort of starting to tighten up a wee bit now. I think he'll stick with Kelleher. I think he's probably the favourite just based on cap cost being 38, and yeah, it's a tough one. Liverpool playing probably their reserve team. I don't know if there's much chance of getting a clean sheet. It's not their speciality, although they did keep a clean sheet, I think, again at the weekend. But with no, they didn't actually. Talk rubbish. One each. didn't even keep a clean sheet with the full team out. So a good go for Ederson, a good go for Joe Willis in here actually. So that's interesting fact, I think. Just talk myself in there. I go the American side of things and just go for Willis, because then I can put in a sort of defensive stack. Now it's a wee bit easier to do that here, with the cap cost being a bit higher in the 270. Although it's a shame, I do kind of want to get some sort of really good SO5 average players in here, and to do that you've got to make sure you have somebody with a lower average. So I'd love to play like Carles Gil in here, be nice, and then. So let's see if I've got anybody who's could be quite good at a lower cap cost. So got 45 remaining for each position. We'll try under 40 just to see if anybody sort of pops out in terms of rotation. Jackson Maleka come on, scored at the weekend, so that was interesting. Vetlesen hasn't always been starting for Club Brugge. Phil Max is garbage. Oh, sorry, if you want to buy my Phil Max card, he's the best left back in Sorare, and I will sell you him. No bother. Sorry. I'm laughing at my own crap jokes here. Nearly choking myself, my banter's that bad. Nicholas Valentini's an interesting one. He's actually a reasonable average player, but Boca's manager resigned after the Libertadores. Arjan Ademi's an interesting one as well. Zagreb have been rubbish, so no doubt about it, they've just been really poor. Nat Phillips, so I kind of predicted he might start. Zaniolo was an interesting one. I'd hope he'd get some game time, although he's not really been doing anything by way of good scores. Jesper Lindstrom might get some game time at home against Union. It's about time Zaniolo actually done something right. But yeah, I think AZ really... They were really poor. Villa really hammered them, the main reason I'm picking this because then it gives me the 57 left here. So I'll need to double check and see if he's likely to play in terms of the predictions. But, it would be nice to kind of get some availability for somebody that's got a nice higher sort of average. And getting Guiri actually comes out on the pick scores and stuff, which is interesting. And then Carles Gil captain. Again, I'll need double checking this because he came off the last game, but there was a 10-day gap between the games and I'm hoping he'll be fit, so I'll double check that in terms of the Playsharper selection. Interestingly, we'll see what the actual prediction on Sorare data is for the lineup builder, because this is kind of important in terms of sitting 15th and like covering around a star rare. So yeah, I'd like to get a couple of better scores in there as well and push right up and have a chance. So Gundogan, that's an interesting selection. I've got Raphael. Don't know why he keeps showing with this. He's injured. Like, keeps saying he's got a knee injury. He's played like every game. Vickers, interestingly, it's shown that that's a reasonable game for him. So that's an interesting one. Guilherme Arana, pretty good game for him. And Dusan Tadic. But again, Fenerbahce have been rotating a bit, and I just don't know. He's played all the recent games, so I think he's a rotation risk. So it's a nice 86 lineup there. That's quite interesting. Anyways, we'll pick some limited lineups now as well. So not going to be doing the 270 with any real sort of seriousness. I might chuck something in there. We'll go for the old favourites, go for under 23s first. So midweek's always a really good chance to win for the under 23s. So Tribun's got a game. Kim Jin-hoon's actually reasonably affordable just now, obviously because the season's about to end as well. But he should be pretty good going forward for John Book, I think. Patrick Schulte's got a game. Nico Mantel's still breaking my heart. I don't know who the other playing goalkeepers are, but I think Kim Jin-hoon's probably got the best sort of defensive type lineup or matchup, if you know what I mean. Interesting ones here. You could take a complete flyer on like Rico Lewis, and imagine Pep probably will want to give some game time to guys like that. Don't think you don't really need to worry about the caps too much in this. So again, probably go with a similar theory as the previous one and get Schlotterbeck in there. Matt O'Reilly, sorry pal, I'm going to have to leave you out. Celtic have been doing better, but yeah, I mean, it's Atletico Madrid away from home, right? So some good selections here. So Saka against Sevilla, good Arsenal want to bounce back after that poor result at the weekend. Phil Foden getting more rotation risk. Kvaratskhelia, should be a good home game for Napoli as well. So I think I'd probably put Saka in this position. Haaland's injured, so or I think he's injured anyway. So that's I think I'm pretty certain that Alvarez is going to play. Can't see how he doesn't. I mean, does City even have any other real sort of forwards? I guess they could just play without a forward and do that thing Pep done before and just go on a mad one and just not play a forward. But Scott Olsen's pretty good, selection there as well. But I mean, thinking against young boys, you would imagine City, no matter who they put out, are going to score goals at home. Vinicius Junior played a wee bit better at the weekend. Actually, I watched it. Should have scored actually, but I think Real said they probably would rotate a wee bit. So I think I would go with Julian Alvarez actually. I just don't really see if Haaland's injured how they can leave him out. Just don't really have any other sort of people that play in that position. No doubt Pep will come out with like 7 midfielders or something, play Foden up front or whatever. And then so kind of Scott Olsen, Lugano, or Club Brugge against Lugano or Kvaratskhelia. It's kind of a tough one. Scott Olsen's been playing really well, actually on really good form. And I think Bruges will be really going to win that. I don't think they'll be messing about much at home. So that's interesting. And then I think I'm probably going to go with Alvarez, the captain, actually. Just because, if he's playing up front, so more chances of scoring. And City, you'd imagine, will create quite a few chances. So we're not bothering with 270, which is a shame, but there we go. We'll just fire something in there after everything else picked. Cap 240s, kind of interesting one always to pick. It's quite interesting midweek as well. I'm just going to see what Sorare data pick stuff says. I always do have a wee look at the pick scores now as well because I think they're quite interesting. So it's not going to actually put them in because I don't know that Beauty's wife's about to pop, but I think this is an obvious one where if you've got a Lamans, then he's got to go in. I mean, I'm not saying that Antwerp have got any reasonable chance of getting a clean sheet against Porto or whatever, but you just zero cap cost, then you're able to put in guys with 60 averages, which is quite interesting. So you get like Aymeric Laporte, he's been playing for Al Nassr, so that's an interesting one, away from home. Trent, not sure he'll play, maybe a wee bit of rotation there. From Liverpool's point of view, maybe give him a wee bit of a rest. Let's see. So I want to kind of max this out, right? So what I'd use guys that have put a higher average, but I'll probably go for Laporte actually. Just kind of murder getting information in these sort of games, but I think there's sort of Playsharper predictions and everything now. Could play Carles Gil. So the advantage of playing Lamans just max it out as much as possible. Be class to play Harry Kane as well. Actually, I suppose could play Kane and then pick like a 50 defender or whatever, so that we're not like left with somebody that's just completely and utterly rubbish for the last position. John Stone's not certain he'll start. This is the beauty of having to fit people into the caps, isn't it? I could go with Jack Maher actually, so there we go, and then that leaves sort of 53. So to flick it to affordable only, then you should have a better sort of last selection. So yeah, John Stone's interesting. Probably should play, but you just don't know with Guardiola. Marmoush's been excellent actually. So imagine if they go quite strong, that's good. Giacomakis at home, interesting one. Gravenberch getting a bit more game time, though he might be out in the rotation now because we've been playing the actual league games. Nusa might get some minutes. Vinicius, so yeah, that's what you call a strong lineup there. Obviously, goalkeeper wise, that's going to be tough, but Harry Kane's just been absolutely on fire, so no doubt he'll hit about 40 or something now. So it just shows you if you can get like lower cost guys in here, then gives you the scope to do this, and that's a nice looking lineup, right? I mean, Lamans could well concede 3 or whatever, you don't know, but Porto are not as good as they were at one point, I don't think, and if Antwerp can try and keep it tight, then they might sneak us at 40-ish, 50, and then you're really, relying on these guys here. Vinicius Junior really good. Cap cost and Jack Maher home game, so that's looking pretty nice. And then All Star Limited, we'll pick one more. We can go for about half an hour now, but hopefully people have not fallen asleep. So in terms of outright picks, I'll probably just try and pick it and actually then see what suggested on Sorare data, although I'll probably suggest guys like Kane or whatever, which I've already used. Augustin Rossi's been excellent, really good. So you see by his average as well. I think defence-wise, Cancelo, Barcelona have not really been rotating him because they've had loads of injuries, so I guess they need to double check to see if he's a rotation risk. He's played a lot of minutes. That's the downside. Has played a lot of minutes. Ruben Diaz was rotated, so I imagine he'll probably come back in, but again, second guessing Pep there. John Stones, guys like that. I might use Laporte actually. Midfield wise, again, Rodri would be a real, shoe in terms of a good score, I think, in this type of game. But again, is he going to start? Is he going to get some sort of minutes in terms of rotation? Get other guys in there, play like Rico Lewis, etc. Kvaratskhelia, so mentioned earlier, pretty good home game. Forward wise, we had used Julian Alvarez, so that's interesting. Giacomakis, I think, was fancy him to score at home. Rodrigo's an interesting one, not been on good form at all, but didn't play the weekend, and I think Ancelotti said that Real Madrid would rotate a wee bit, so although he doesn't have a high average, you would imagine pretty good chance scoring at home. And then we've not really got any real sort of stacking or anything in here. So the alternative is you could try and guess the Man City team and stack that, but I don't know, I can't really bother with that. Fed up getting done in by that. And then Kvaratskhelia is buzzing again, so I think I'd go for him in terms of captain. So that's pretty strong. So pretty nice averages all around, hitting the 60 averages, nothing outrageous. I would love to pick guys like Rodri, but yeah, it's just you're just guessing, So unless you get any sort of news in that, you're pretty much guessing. And Challenger, obviously, I'll fire in the Celtic guys, but not really hoping for much by way of rewards. So final thing, probably just have a wee look at the gallery and see what's happening. Still been ducking and diving a wee bit, just sort of beefing up the Celtic collection. So as per usual, got run up a wee bit on McGregor 42. Thanks for that, Bab. Cheers. 20 quid card or whatever, run up to 70 quid. But yeah, sharp number and really wanted that one. Alessandro Russo is a long-term buy, so still not the cheapest at 70 quid, but he's out on loan just now to Serie C or something, and he was highly rated, so hopefully when he comes back he'll maybe get a gig in Serie B or whatever and be worth a few hundred. And picked up this guy as well, Chris Furic. Getting an interesting one. Takes sets for Stuttgart. Scores are kind of a wee bit hit and miss. Away from home seems a wee bit poor. So you look at his away, but if you look at his home scores, they're a wee bit more solid. You see 80, 81, 88, 64, 75, 74. But look, all his scores are 93, 90, so he's doing some peak scores here. So poor 39 at the weekend on debut, but takes the sets for Stuttgart, so pretty interesting one. Anyway, I'm waffling on a wee bit now, so I think we'll bring it to an end there. But thanks for watching again, everybody. I've not really been doing as many of these recently because we had the podcast with MPen, which actually was pretty successful. That was really good. So thanks very much for everyone for watching that. I think we'll probably do a follow-up to that once we see some updates from Sorare in terms of what's happening generally. Nice to see Nicholas coming back, being a bit more hands-on and things as well. I think that's kind of needed as well. Companies obviously growing a lot and things, but you need to make sure in a time like this the direction is is right, and there've been some good stuff which come out, and it sounds like there's loads of stuff being worked on in the background, but users don't really know that. You've got to communicate that properly, and it does sound as if Nicholas and Adrian are going to take a bit more control and make sure everything's going in the right direction, which I think is really good. So anyway, if you're playing this week, good luck and go fuck, and chat to you all again soon. Thanks for watching.